Hello, welcome to my postage stamp of a kitchen. What you can see now is literally the entire kitchen. There is a wall right here. It is tiny, but I wanted to do a meal prep video. I love meal prepping and I love eating food. And you can't alienate, what's it called? Eating from fitness. They're the same thing. If you want to be physically fit and healthy, you have to eat the part. So I'm gonna check the recipe. I need to preheat the oven. 400 degrees. So I'm gonna start off real simple and start the veggies. So I'm doing a quiche with a side of mixed veggies. I don't own a cutting board. I use plates. Fight me. And this container will be good for the cheese. Actually, some of the cheese. This recipe has a lot of cheese. I guess you can use this other container for the rest of the cheese. My kitchen is going to be a mess, and then I'm going to clean as I go, just to make my life easier. And someone's going to at me saying, "You're using the wrong knife." I don't care. It's my kitchen. You do it yourself. Did I get another bad onion? I swear, if this is another bad onion, I suck at picking onions. All right, let's chop this bad boy open and see how we did on picking an onion. It's actually not bad all the way through, and we only need half a yellow onion. I went with Vidalia's because the what's it called? The non-Vidalia onions were the size of my head, and that is just too much onion for the recipe, and I don't want to mess up the recipe. We're just going to cook the onions with the ground sausage straight up. And yes, I did just pull a pan out of the dishwasher. I am unhinged in the kitchen, and I cannot be stopped. I also don't know how to chop onions properly. That probably could have been cut better. Yeah, so I like meal prepping, obviously, because I am a food and fitness nerd, so. But yeah, so I meal prep. And you can find lots of good recipes for meal prepping. I highly recommend you meal prep, especially if you are a single adult living alone. Because at least with meal prepping, you can get home-cooked food without breaking the bank. They do have meal prep services if you don't have time to cook, but I have some time to cook. It would be hilariously ironic if I had time to run and make YouTube videos, but not, spend an hour cooking a quiche. So yeah, if you didn't know, this is going to be a quiche. All right, so onion number 1 is chopped. And then I got ground sausage, pound. I don't normally get this brand. I normally just get the generic, but they were out. It's Monday, and they don't restock until Tuesday. Or is it Sunday? I don't know. I don't normally grocery shop on Sunday. This is going to be impossible to peel. Before cooking this, I meant to upgrade the recipe card in my meal planning app. Or, well, not really meal planning app. It's more of a, what's it called? Calorie counting app. That's the word. So I recommend meal prepping. And at first, when you start, let me wash my hands real quick. All right, interruption over. So at first, when you start meal prepping, you're going to be really slow at cooking. I am getting better. Spatula. So we're going to brown the meat and caramelize the onions at the same time while we prep our veggies. And the veggies are going to go in the oven before the quiches. Because last time I did it, the veggie, I'm sorry, I am out of frame. What's it called? The veggies were a little underdone. So the veggies include mushrooms, full 8-ounce container, because I love mushrooms. And this is a mushroom and spinach quiche. So we're getting all the fungi today. And the recipe says you can add sausage, so I'm trying to get more protein in, so I'm going to be making some modifications to the recipe. If it's good, I will include them in the comments below. If it's bad, I will say so in the comments below. And probably still include what I did, so you can roast me in the comments. I'll also include a link to where I found said recipe so you can try it yourself. Alright, so while that's starting to heat up, we're going to cut up our next veggies, which are yellow bell peppers. Alright, we're getting a close-up shot on the veggie cutting. So, yeah, yellow bell peppers. I have this weird technique. I don't know if this is proper technique for cutting vegetables. Like I said, I'm not a professional chef. I am chaotic at cooking. If I did it wrong, yell at me in the comments. I like meal prepping so much. I am repeating myself. I don't really have a script here, but I highly recommend, if you meal prep, find a variety of recipes that I'm going to try to cut out some of the background noise for you in post, but cooking is a noisy affair in this household. Normally there's a little more swearing, but yeah. I love meal prepping because it's just fantastic for getting healthy foods in proper amounts, and you can pump up the protein. You have control over your macros. You can pump up the protein if you want. You can add more carbs. You can go vegan, vegetarian. You can do anything. I recommend finding at least a variety of foods that you can meal prep easily. And for the mixed veggies, I always do big chunks. For other recipes, I do them smaller, but the mixed veggies are supposed to be lazy. So big chunks. I recommend multiple recipes. The website I use to get these recipes is called Budget Bites. That's where I go when I want to eat vegetable or eat like a recipe or something new, and I don't really know what I want to eat. They have a huge variety. I will link them in the comment in the description below, and you can modify the recipes. I found that almost every recipe on there, even if it doesn't have any ratings, is fantastic. The worst one I've tried was their chicken and white bean skillet, and it just was bland. So if you do that one, I recommend doubling the spices and using spicy sausage instead of sweet. But other than that, it's a good website. Seriously, there has not been a single recipe I tried on that website that was bad. I've even dared to try ones without high ratings, so I know not all recipe websites are like that. Like All Recipes, for example, if it's rated low, it's rated low for a reason. Avoid that recipe. But yeah, tangent aside, find a website or a place where you can find recipes or a cookbook or something. I personally recommend meal prepping for single adults because they don't sell food in quantities for single people. It's always like, yeah, here's a recipe for a family of 4 or a family of 6. If you cook it and then pack it away in little bento boxes, you will have dinner for a week, and it's a lot. It's just, it's hard to cook every single day when you're a young adult because 1, you're busy, and 2, recipes, there's very few that make just 1 serving. And it's easier to cook multiple servings all at once. Like, I spend maybe an hour of meal prepping a week, but I get home cooked meals just about every single day a week. Highly recommend it for young adults. Or if you are on a strict diet and you have issues with like temptation or, just like I really want to order out, meal prepping takes all of that away. It really does, because you're not, I need to cook dinner. It's, I have dinner in the fridge ready to microwave. And I know there are services. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Factor. Got to break up the sausage a little bit. The heat's a little too high. Now, the original recipe for this quiche, they did not say to heat the vegetables. And I tried it where you don't pre-cook anything, and without sausage, of course. And it turned out really good. It was just a pain getting everything to fit in the pie shell. I used 2 pie shells and it still was a tight fit. So, So back to meal prepping. So back to the meal prepping topic. Where was I? I'm so sorry. I'm scattered. I am exhausted. But I wanted to film meal prepping. Yeah, meal prepping is great if you're on a restricted diet, though, or trying to save money. Like this week, I'm eating lunch, dinner, and snacks for around $60. It should have been more. I forgot to pick up protein shakes, but in this economy, that's not too shabby. Get the feta away from the heat source. So we have 2 more vegetables to add. I chunk up, and I call it chunking up because I don't even cut it into little pieces. I cut it into big hunks. Onion, another Vidalia. Like I said, the yellow onions at the grocery store were absolutely enormous. Would have been way too much for what I'm doing. So, always eyeball it. Yellow onions can be substituted for sweet onions. White onions, I think, are a little less sweet than yellow or Vidalias, but, I'm kind of biased towards Vidalia onions. My family always used to, pretty much exclusively use them. I try to use the onion that the recipe calls for, but the yellows don't look good. I will happily sub it for a Vidalia or a Spanish onion. Those are just as good. And honestly, with cooking, it's experimenting. And the onion wrapper is stuck to my hand. I am probably going to have so many people yelling at me for my cooking methods, and I don't care, because, you go left, I go right. At the end of the day, we both have a dinner. Yeah, I cut it into big hunks like this and just throw them in the pan because they're gonna cook. And when I stir it up, I'm gonna use my hand. Actually, I'll use a spoon for you guys. Yeah, I do mixed veggies on the side because it's low calorie and voluminous. I'm a volume eater. Of course, I burn myself on camera. Very on brand for Paige. And now the last veggie, which is probably going to be the most painful one to cut. It's the broccoli. It's cauliflower. I was going to add broccoli as well, but the pan is usually very full and I'm upping the food in the quiche. So I figured it wouldn't hurt to just do cauliflower. Literally, if you're doing a mixed veggie medley like this, any veggies are good. And I am out of frame. I am so sorry. That's better. I don't know the proper way of cutting these things. Vegetables are hard. They're hard to cut, easy to cook. Because literally all you need is an oven, some olive oil. Oh, that's one way to do it. Like the others, just big chunks. I'm massacring this cauliflower. But my kitchen right now smells like sausage and garlic, and I am not complaining. Alright, so if you want to meal prep, I recommend getting little boxes or Tupperware containers. I ordered some off Amazon for cheap. I made sure they were dishwasher and microwave safe. Those were the only two requirements. I'm dropping everything. I am sorry. But yeah, I ordered little boxes off Amazon. They came in like 2 days because it's Amazon. And, you know, they've definitely seen their use. I've had them for like since October, so a good while, and they're still holding up. If you want to get fancy and expensive, glass will do just fine. I just am cheap and didn't know how far I would take meal prepping. Hence the cheap. What's it called? The cheap little boxes. And I also like meal prepping because you can just get a greater variety of food. Like this week I'm having quiche and veggies. But what did I have last week? I honestly can't remember. I had the sweet potato, or the chicken and beans skillet. The one that I said you have to double the spices. I had that. And I did double the spices. Alright, that's all the chopping for today. I'm going to add the mushrooms to the pan now. Don't worry, my kitchen is a mess now, but it won't be forever. Let the mushrooms start to cook a little. This is still going to be a very full quiche. All right. See, I did the dishes. Actually, let's add the olive oil first. Stir it up a little. So I just add some olive oil and then garlic salt. And usually that's all you need to oven roast a veggie deliciously. And I'm just gonna try to mix these up, get some of the stuff throughout. It's not very colorful. Normally the broccoli adds a lot of color. It doesn't have to be mixed up, it's all gonna cook down. Yeah, this would be way too full. Sorry, I am drifting with, what's it called? Forgetting the word. Broccoli. Yeah, once you get good at meal prepping, you will eventually learn how to modify recipes. All right, let's pop this in the oven since the first attempt at doing this, the veggies were a little underdone baking at the same time in temperature as the quiche. So we're gonna do that separately. Alrighty. Oh, that is hot. I'm gonna let that cool. I already measured out the spices for this recipe. So one of the changes I'm making is I'm upping. Oh, I don't know how to open this thing. I don't buy fancy milk usually. I wanted to splurge a little. So I'm upping the amount of milk from 3/4 of a cup to a whole cup. Which should up the protein content, because fun fact, dairy has protein. Back in the fridge. And we're gonna need these eggs. I'll take them out now. Now I'm gonna measure out the ingredients. We're gonna need 2 ounces of feta. If I can open the container, that'd be fantastic. The feta did not want to cooperate. A little over 2, that's fine. To the fridge with the leftover cheese. I could add that to a salad or something later. So we got our feta. And now, Swiss. And we need 4 ounces of that. So yeah, if you're gonna be meal prepping, you're gonna want a kitchen scale at the very least. Oh geez, how much is 4 ounces of cheese? We're gonna call that 4. I think my kitchen scale is having a bit of a day, so we're gonna give it a break. All right, now here's the most important reason why I'm cooking the veggies ahead of time, is the magic of spinach. So they want a whole 5 ounces of spinach. That's how much is in here. And yes, I'm setting all my recycling off to the side. If I can open the package, that would be just grand. And spinach is huge in volume. Look at that. But cooks down to be sad. It's like you cook a huge, massive amount of spinach. You're like, I'm gonna have a spinach feast. And it's sad. You're just like, oh, that's like no spinach at all. And I love meal prepping because you can sub in things you like. You can boost protein, you can control things, you can tailor to any dietary restriction, and honestly, it saves so much time. Like, I'm probably gonna spend an hour cooking, and while doing that, I'm saving hours throughout the rest of the week. All right, we're gonna have to let that cook down a little bit. But while we do that, let's start with the mixture that goes into the quiche. Okay, so a bit of a fun angle. So we got the spices. I will include the recipe. Oh, geez. Right, that's what happens when you put spices and garlic in the same container. Note to self, don't do that. Spinach is starting to wilt, which is perfect. I think I'm going to turn off the heat on that because the spinach will continue to wilt. So a cup of milk. And then the recipe calls for 4 eggs, but I'm adding 8 because eggs are an excellent source of protein. We'll take care of the little egg container later. My phone is buzzing, so my watch is angry at me. Okay, tough little egg. So hopefully this doesn't mess up the bake quality too much. Wow, I suck at cracking eggs apparently. Did I get a shell in there? can't tell, should have done the eggs first. Well, nothing a little extra calcium, right? That's what's in eggshells. Oh, my tummy's already grumbling. I know, Paige, you're gonna eat soon. All right, get that egg carton out of the way. Wash the egg off my hands. Actually turn the page on the recipe so I know what I'm doing. Now, let's play a game. Where did I put the whisk? I put it in the drawer with all my utensils. Of course. Things are going wonderfully. You know what's weird? This recipe calls for nutmeg. I always thought that was an ingredient for sweet pies. This isn't really a sweet thing. All right, that takes care of that. I'm gonna move that off to the side. Wipe down the counter real quick, clean as you go. We're gonna start preparing our pie shells. Now this makes 2 quiches. I tried fitting all of this into one. It's not gonna fit. If you have a deep dish pie tin, you might be able to squeeze it in there. But these are not deep dish. These are just normal pie tins. They're for normal pies. Now, I'm always trying to eke more protein into my diet. So I tried seeing if my grocery store had protein added pie shells. They do not. Sad. And no, I don't leave my trash can open all the time, just when I'm cooking. To make things easier. Because that is the pie tin, or that is the trash can my parents had when I was growing up. They gave it to me, and I just haven't gotten a different thing. But yeah. This is kind of a very rambly off-topic cooking video. But I just wanted to cook, and I figured share it lengthwise or the long ways. Peanut butter jelly the long ways. But meal prep is really easy, though this is only taking me longer today to do it because I keep having to change the camera angles. So let's move that pie to be better in view. So they want the feta mixed in, so I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to mix in a little bit of the Swiss while we're at it. Because I love cooking. You can just wing it a little bit, and you'd be surprised. All right, you know what? This might be spoon-worthy. Into the dishwasher we go. Because literally, like, all my dishes are in the dishwasher. Well, that's a good cheese pull. Don't really need a good cheese pull for this. Now, that made a lovely slapping sound. Wow, that fits so much better when you cook it. Had to use the pan anyway since we're adding sausage to the dishwasher. And now we just simply pour in our egg mixture. Oh, the little handle on my cheap dollar store bucket is peeling. All right, and the recipe says before we bake it, we just top with the rest of the Swiss. Honestly, these look like they have potential. I am getting excited for dinner tonight. So we're gonna have veggies and quiche. Woohoo! All right, these bad boys are ready to go in the oven. All right, so there they are, the veggies and the quiche. I moved the veggies to the bottom shelf because of, they said put it on a baking sheet and the heating elements on the bottom of the oven. So the veggies will help block some of that heat. So I will see how these bad boys did in about 45 minutes. So these bad boys just came out of the oven, and let me tell you, they look delicious. The recipe says to let them sit for a little bit, 30 minutes. I'm probably not gonna wait that long, I'm hungry, to serve. So we're gonna let them cool a little bit. And of course, the veggies are also done. You got the nice little like browning on them. They look delicious as well. I'm gonna actually divvy those up soon once they cool down a little bit. And I guess we'll do a little taste test. All right, here it is, all plated and divvied up. This makes eight meals. So this is lunch and dinner for the week. So yeah, let's taste test, see how this bad boy tastes. All right, got the quiche right here. Let's give it a taste. That is fire. That is really good. So yeah, I'll post a link to the recipe from All Recipes where I got this in the description, and I will also list the modifications I made to the recipe, so you will know exactly what I did to recreate this. I'll also include details on how I made the mixed veggies. If you are interested in trying that, it's veggies with seasonings. It's not challenging or complicated. And if you made it this far and enjoyed my complicated and chaotic attempt at meal prepping, please follow for more. I'm going to be posting lots of fitness, running, and food content in the future. So, all right, I'll catch you in the next one.